I want this to be a show.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I loved that animation style. I loved that writing. I loved that. I loved that. I don't have any bad things to say.
Yeah. The Force of Others, a Star Wars podcast. Hello there, and welcome to The Force of Others. I'm Zachary Owen Turner.
I'm Matt Boitner, and today on The Force of Others, we're talking all about Visions Volume 3. Woo! Every single episode with a small amount of detail. Not too much detail because we don't want to be here for 4 hours. We're only going to be here for about an hour. But we will break down each and every single episode. But one of the best things about Visions is that it asks questions. It's kind of a what if in and of itself. And speaking of what ifs, we got one from one of our listeners today, and we're going to answer that question. From friend of the podcast, Rocky Westbrook. What if the R5 droid's transponder didn't go out when purchased by Uncle Owen? If you don't know what that's talking about, it's the red droid in Star Wars Episode 4 that Uncle Owen and Luke buy.
Hey,
and
Uncle Owen, this one's got a bad motivator.
Exactly. And then as it falls apart, they get R2-D2. Mm-hmm. So, Zach, normal me, I have a whole movie pitch, or ish. Do you have a whole pitch as well?
I got a little bit of one.
Do you want to go first, or shall I?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Hit it.
So first of all, I want to say, if you haven't read the book, from a certain point of view, there's a great scene about this one where they choose R5 and R2, droid talks to him, is like, please, I have a mission, I have to save the universe, please, please, please. And then R5 chooses to short out his motivator, thus saving the entire galaxy. So R5 is already a hero, in case you didn't know. But in case we are going with this wonderful what if, I have a little bit of a pitch. So what if R5 didn't break down? So R2 and 3PO are separated, right? Because R5 gets chosen. So 3PO tells R2, he's like, Owen's our new master. 3PO we know is just going to do what Owen and Aunt Beru want to do. So basically, that part of the movie takes a little bit of a break because he doesn't go look for R2. We know that 3PO is the kind of person that is just going to do what he's told and do a good job. So 3PO is off with Luke, Owen, and Aunt Beru. Meanwhile, the movie follows R2 from here on out because R2's the one with the mission. R2's the main character at this point. So R2, where does he go? Well, where do we eventually know that needs a droid? Jabba the Hutt's palace. So R2 gets picked up by Jabba the Hutt's palace much in the way that we see in Return of the Jedi. So he gets sold to Jabba's palace because Jabba is always in need of more droids. He's always destroying droids. So we get a whole Jabba's palace montage and get that villain reveal in the first movie. And he gets the restraining bolt. Maybe he convinces somebody to take it off, or maybe a pig guard is going to take it off. So we know that R2 is holed off in Jabba's palace for a little bit, but we see, him doing cunning things to get out of Jabba's palace. We cut back to the farm with Owen, Beru, Luke, and C-3PO. Things are going fine. However, from the original movie, we know that the stormtroopers are going to come there to look for the droids that have been missing. So they come. Luke is there, though, and 3PO is all there. So who has to save them? Ben Kenobi. Ben Kenobi comes in, attacks the stormtroopers, saves the day, but Owen and Beru are alive, so is 3PO, Luke, and Ben. Ben says, hey, I have friends on Alderaan. I know a king there and a queen. We're going to go there. So they go to Mos Espa to find transport because Owen and Beru don't have a ship. So all four of them go there. They go to the cantina that we see. Meanwhile, the droids can't come in. So 3PO and the R5 unit that's with them have to wait outside. R5, meanwhile, has been doing a great job on the farm, been helping Luke. There's that dog-boy relationship there. And what comes around the corner but R2-D2. R2-D2 meets up with 3PO, and 3PO is like, oh my, what are you doing here, R2? They eventually all regroup with Han and Chewie. R2 finally gets to show the message to Ben Kenobi, and, we get the same sequence of the stormtroopers finding them and all that, them shooting at the thing. The big change here is that when they're all shooting at the ship, one bolt is going to go for Luke, but instead R5 gets in the way and heroic sacrifices R5 to himself. And Yep, Docking Bay 94. R5 sacrificed himself to save Luke, but being the good droid, we have always known that he is. The movie then happens much like it does, but Owen and Beru die on the Death Star along with Obi-Wan Kenobi, thus making Luke's call to join the rebellion even stronger than it was before. At the very end of the movie, or right before the attack on the Death Star, R2 asks to change his paint job to look like R5 to honor the droid's sacrifice, and the movie ends largely the same, but you have a red R2-D2. And that's my pitch.
Sick. Right on. Yeah, so very, very similar what I came up with, but there's a key difference that sets it off in a different place. So, for me, R5 ignores, from a certain point of view story called The Red One.
Yeah.
R5 ignores R2 because they have that whole back in this version. In the real story, they have that whole back and forth, and R2's like, please, and R5's like, no, please let me go anywhere else. I've been stuck here forever. It's so horrible. Just please, like, it'll work out. Anyway, R5 gets bought by Owen and Beru and Luke. So we have a different oil bath convo, right? There's no Leia reveal to Luke, and 3PO's not monologue. He monologues about the rebels a little bit, but no big deal. Luke still does the twin sons bit. Similarly, I stick with R2-D2, but he breaks himself out of the sandcrawler.
Oh, cool.
R2 steals one of the Jawa's ion blasters and is going to risk shooting himself to get the restraining bolt off. And so it's this big, like, dramatic moment of, like, is he going to accidentally harm himself as he's trying to free himself from this bolt? And then it's like, is he going to have the courage to pull the trigger? And as soon as he does and the bolt falls, the stormtroopers attack the sandcrawler looking for the droids, and R2 escapes in all the chaos. The next morning, because 3PO and R5 belong to Owen and Beru, it's not chill working on the farm. They have to go get their memories erased, which is the first thing Owen wanted to have happen. Now, granted, Owen called for that after Luke saw the message from R2 for Obi-Wan Kenobi, but just in general, I think Owen's like, I think probably instead of talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi, Luke would still go to the dinner table and talk about the Rebel Alliance, right? And Owen wouldn't want any part of that. Go get their memories erased. So he does. He goes to Anchorhead, talks with Wendy about Biggs leaving to join the Rebels, referencing the deleted scenes. R5 freaks out, won't get his memories erased, and 3PO is like, memories erased? You said it was maintenance. What? Gone. Mind blank. R2 doesn't have backups like he does in the sequels. 3PO is a new droid for the rest of the saga, for however long he lives. R5 also gets his memory erased, and they're just like normal droids now. Meanwhile, R2 just making his way out by himself through the Dune Sea, comes across this old hooded man in the desert, low on power. He projects all of Leia's message that he can muster. Of course, all it is help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. And the dude lowers his hood, and it's Obi-Wan. Duh. Now, similarly to you, Luke returns home with freshly mind-wiped droids. As stormtroopers are there, actively gunning down Owen and Beru. He sees it happen this time. And then as that happens and they turn towards him, that's when Obi-Wan shows up, saves him, and they escape. So the biggest problems is they're trying to... basically from then on, it's kind of the same movie, just Luke had a much more visceral thing. And R5 is just basically a normal droid. But you just get more bits of comedy with R2 trying to tell 3PO that they're friends, and 3PO's like, yes, you're the third friend I ever made, and stuff like that. He's saying something about a princess, and looks like a princess. What are you talking about? So the whole thing would get condensed much more active. Luke would know their mission was real from a much more visceral perspective. But there we go. So there's our what-ifs. Thank you, Rocky Westbrook, for the question. If you have a question, if you want to hear us do our version of a Star Wars thing, if you give us a what-if scenario, or any question about Star Wars or life in general, send it to forceofothersradio@gmail.com. But in the meantime, Zach, how was your real-life week, and how was your Star Wars week?
Real life week was good. I mean, it was Halloween, so that was super fun. Didn't get to dress. Well, I at work I wear a uniform, so I did a little Clark Kent glasses and Had a little bit of a Superman shirt underneath my button down,
Well done.
just a little subtle one, but saw some really fun costumes out in the wild. Saw a Boba Fett that was actually pretty good, so that was pretty cool walking home. New York kind of goes all out for Halloween. But we also went and did a fall photo shoot this week, which was really great. Got some new photos from a website, which I'm redoing. Got some just some good fall times in, but in a spooky movie way, we watched Bram Stoker's Dracula, which is the Keanu Reeves, the Winona Ryder, and most notably the Gary Oldman Dracula movie. And this is how Star Wars found me, because we're watching this movie, and Dracula at the beginning there is very Palpatine. He even talks a little bit like him, with a little bit of an accent, but the way he talks and the gravelly of the voice, you're like, this is very Palpatine. And it came out before Episode 1 did, so you wonder, he had a little bit of that voice in the in Episode 6, but the way he kind of pumped it up in Episode 3, I wonder if it's a little inspired by Mr. Oldman, or if Oldman was inspired by Palpatine. Either way, one or the other, very clear imitation, not clear, but, very similar takes on a villain character. And a fun movie, beautifully shot by Francis Ford Coppola, who is one of George Lucas's friends and mentors. So, a lot of Star Wars going on in there. But it was a fun little moment of wait, I know that voice. So. How about you? How was your week? How did Star Wars find you?
Well, I hinted at it at the time of our last recording, but busy work week. Now, we're recording Tuesday, the 4th of November. We just had our first rehearsal for Christmas Carol last night. We're blocking every night this week. I'm blocking every night this week, and then we have our closing weekend of Young Frankenstein this weekend. And then it's all steam ahead on Christmas Carol,
pulling
and
double
the show
duty.
My Academy's doing, and the other show My Academy. Technically 4 shows at once.
Quadruple
duty. Tis my life, kids. But had a great Star Wars week, editing and putting together our Galaxy of Horror episode and a couple shorts to go along with it. It was super fun. Had a good time. Zach scared the crap out of me with spiders that I forgot that I brought on myself. It's fine. I have plans to scare the crap out of him next year with snakes. Ha-ha!
Why is it always got to be snakes?
There you go. Snakes on a plane, but instead of tired of these Mother Griffin snakes on this Mother Griffin plane, it'll be snakes. Why's it got to be snakes? But I did wear a Star Wars costume when we shot the podcast, and that was the only time that I wore a Halloween costume because I had so much going on. We had kind of a dress-up day for the show on Friday, but I got enough happening, and by the time we're going to, the warm-up for the show, I'm already in half of my Dr. Frankenstein costume, because then I'm running around setting props and everything else, and just busy stuff happening. But as for how Star Wars found me, 2 guys that made 3 between them, I don't want to say reviled Star Wars movies, but controversial Star Wars movies.
Controversial is a good word.
Made a Star Wars joke, and I'm going to share it with everybody super quick because I thought this was hilarious, and I think it'll be fun to not give you any context before I throw you into what this is. And if you can't see it, you'll hear the voices, and good luck guessing.
Well, JJ, thank you for being here, and guys, thank you again for being here, and doing this. Let's talk about the franchise trilogy everyone wants to hear our thoughts about. Let's talk about Knives Out. Let's do it. Come on.
Great joke. Great joke from Rian Johnson. So if you couldn't put it together, that is Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams at a sitting on a panel. This is some kind of talkback situation for Wake Up Dead Man. Anyway, great joke from Rian Johnson. The 2 people probably most on the planet, most aware of the insatiable nature of Star Wars fans. And kind of making fun of Star Wars fans always wanting more Star Wars talk. And so it's let's talk about the trilogy that everybody wants to hear about, the Knives Out trilogy. Good movies coming in the next couple weeks. I'm very excited about Wake Up Dead Man. I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it comes out November 26th on Netflix. Also, I don't know if you watched more of that panel, but later on Ryan goes, "Oh yeah, I knew it was Daniel Craig as the Stormtrooper before anyone else." He's like, I knew that voice. As soon as it came on, I knew it was him.
I didn't see that. That's awesome. I just saw that one clip, and I was like, what a fantastic joke. From Ryan Johnson. Yeah. Also, haters gonna hate is weird. They're friends. They don't hate each other. So strange. Anyway, but I mean, Star Wars found me in a couple other ways. Not a Star Wars podcast for a moment, but y'all, my hype for Stranger Things season 5 is reaching critical mass. I don't know if you're a Stranger Things guy.
You're big on the Stranger
Things, Oh my gosh.
Huh?
It's like Jenny and I are rewatching it right now, and just every now and then I kind of... Because in this era, at least for me, I don't have kids, and I have a job, but I'm like, there's always media going on in the background of whatever I'm doing, and especially when I'm at home. So I've listened to Stranger Things so many times. It's kind of a go-to, just I'm going to put this on while I work, while I'm writing or whatever, or just doing busy work. And there were multiple times in this rewatch that I'll sit back and go, it is wild how perfect a show this is for me. Like, it's the perfect show in my mind. And I cannot wait. I'm annoyed that we have had to wait this long for season 5, but, first world problems. But are you a Stranger Things person, or are you kind of a
Yeah, I've watched it all. So I'm not like, ooh, woohoo. I'm like, oh, cool, I'll watch it.
I am here for it. I truly can't wait. So, I won't make a Stranger Things episode then, because force of other stuff, if you're not a Stranger Things man. But I will, you got to keep me from monologuing about it as those things come out. It's funny, I'm going to have to wait, but this is a cute story. So, Stranger Things Season 1 came out in 2016, right? Which 9 years ago now. That was one of the first things that Jenny and I did together, was watching that show. Because we hadn't been dating very long at all when it came out. And so we just we're like, all right, we'll give this... We both tend to be kind of contrarians. If a show's super popular, we're like, I don't know. Let me watch it. Let me wait before I watch it. And then we did, and we were like, this is actually pretty dope. And obviously we weren't living together yet. And so there would be times that we would only watch an episode if we could both be watching it at the same time. However, now, with the finale coming, Jenny's going to be visiting family when the finale comes out on Thanksgiving, or the first volume of the finale, and so I'm going to have to wait. And then the next week we go into Tech Week for Christmas Carol. I may have to wait a week or so, or a couple weeks.
I might have finished it before you.
I'm going to be so angry. I was like, well, Jen, I mean, we're grown now. Could we just watch it on our own? And she was like, no. I said, okay,
Matt,
love you.
No,
that's fine. I will get spoiled on the internet is what I know is going to happen. But anywho,
you guys got to come up and see it on Broadway. It's a big stuff.
Shout out Imperial Remnant. He saw it on Broadway. We were emailing back and forth when we first got him on the show, and I think he found out we were theater guys, and he was talking about seeing it. He said it's awesome.
Yeah.
But
it's supposed to be a huge spectacle.
Yeah. I mean, I will eventually. We're probably gonna come to New York and see, or we're gonna try. We'll see. To Malfoy. Mm-hmm. What's that actor's name?
Tom Felton.
There you go. He is he's in The Cursed Child right now on Broadway, and Jenny being the huge Potterhead, we might show up and jump scare you with our presence.
Yeah.
But that might be a fly to New York, see the show, fly back.
Oh, wow.
Because we're both very, very busy. But enough about us. Let's talk about Star Wars, and let's talk about new Star Wars. Love it or hate it, new Star Wars is always good, or at least it's always good to have new stuff to talk about. Visions Volume 3.
Yeah.
Zach, go ahead.
All right. So if you have been living under a rock and don't know what we're talking about, Visions is where has third season. Basically, Disney went to all of these animators. First season was in Japan. Second season was all around the world. Third season, I think we're all back to Japan. But basically, they said, hey, you amazing artists, do whatever you want. Don't worry about canon. Just make something cool. And they did. And then it was really popular. And now we even have sequel episodes, which are some of my favorite ones in this season. But we had 8 new episodes. Some of them longer, some about 35 to 45 minutes. Some of them very short, like 13 minutes. So it's a really quick watch if you're looking for something fun and new. If you're like, ooh, I don't know about anime, you don't need to know about anime. Just go and watch it. It's really fun. It just go in with an open mind and don't worry about canon, and you're gonna have a great time because they don't worry about canon either. It's just set in the universe with Star Wars influences, and it's really great. I was pleasantly surprised by a few of these, and I think I have a new favorite episode, which is pretty exciting. But Matt, opening thoughts on Star Wars Visions Season 3.
Yeah, so really, this whole season is in many ways a meditation on what the balance of the Force is. Mm-hmm. Interesting for me, outside of one of them, I think it gets it wrong consistently.
Oh.
Because there is a lot of the dark and the light have to both be powerful for there to be balance. And I'm like, that's not what it is. Outside of a short that I absolutely loved, and I'll get there when I get there. But, man, I can hear all that.
Sorry, thirsty.
But, yeah, outside of that, there was a lot of talk of those both being in balance to the point that I kind of want to have an episode about it. Mm-hmm. Grayson, shout out Mortis FM. Mm-hmm. We ended up talking about it on Instagram a couple days ago. Just he and I going back and forth in messages talking about the balance of the Force and what it means. Imperial Remnant and I talked about it when he came on. But George Lucas seemed to say eventually that the balance is the light side. The balance is harmony. Uh-huh. The balance is that. And I'll get into more of that later. But overall, I liked, I think, every single one of these. There are 9 of them. Unless I'm counting wrong. The Payback, Song of the Four Wings, Ninth Jedi, Bounty Hunters, Yuko's Treasure, Lost Ones, Smuggler, Bird of Paradise, and Black.
Oh, yes.
Which has got to be the wildest thing I've ever seen.
Black was
but to get into some... Oh, I didn't put it on there?
Nope. But it's all good.
I forgot to copy it.
I have on my own notes. So.
Might be.
It's all good.
Okay. But, Zach, getting into specifics,
yeah.
Set us up for the Duel Payback.
Yeah, so the Duel is our first sequel episode. It was the first episode of Season 1 of Star Wars Visions. It's very Kurosawa-inspired, but this is about a Ronin who faces off against a disturbed Jedi Master. Some have even been likening it to what if Vader was a good guy? You know, what if everything happened to him and he ended up a good guy? But yeah, this was a really cool episode. We got, if you don't remember, the lead character in the Duel, he is a Sith that is hunting other Sith. So he's this like bad good guy, Ronin, just kind of gray, if you will, area. But it starts off on this like mobile gaming lounge that's like a casino that's across 2 Imperial AT-AT walkers, and this like Jedi Master comes in. He's like half robot because he had some dealings with the Ronin before, when he was an ultimate bad guy, and now he's hunting other bad guys. And there's some other cool, this is the sequel to the episode that had the lightsaber umbrella, and instead of a lightsaber umbrella, we got a lightsaber hand with like 30 different like little tiny lightsabers. So it's very inventive and fun. But yeah, any opening thoughts for you on this one?
Oh, I didn't even really break it down to openings, likes, dislikes.
Cool. Well, then I'll just say what I thought about it, and we'll go to you. I really loved, this kind of like Revenge of the Sith-esque battle that we got on the AT-AT Walker, except it's in the snow. I thought that was really fun. I liked the mobile gaming lounge with the Babu Frick and Zelen kind of leading it, and how he has to have this little translator, and his voice is up here, and then it's like this big deep voice because he's the boss. I loved the Jedi droid villain. I thought he was really cool. I liked that they were called the Crusaders, so it was like this like Jedi that had been like he's the Grand Master, and if he's leading it and he's kind of wrong in his ideals, it's like a dark Jedi order, which I thought was really cool. And the last thing I really liked is the lightsaber leg. It was very akin to, what is that movie with so the Twi'lek Sith that he's like going after eventually reveals she has a lightsaber leg to win the battle. But it reminded me of the gun leg from that one movie with Machete.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, fun episode. Is it the best episode here? No, but it's good. It's fun. Your thoughts?
Yeah. Amazing saber duels, but I wrote twice in my notes. That's not how balance works.
I think that's
like
the
that they
idea,
called him,
though. The idea is
Well,
that
and
the
that's-
Jedi is wrong here, you know.
but the Ronin is wrong too.
Yeah.
Because the Ronin says that the hero says that that you're turning away from your dark side, and you have to have both. But he's treated like he's the hero, like he's right, and I don't think he's right either. Is what I'm saying. I thought that the opening was absolutely terrifying. I loved that the Dark Jedi bad guy was phasing.
Yeah.
Like, he was teleporting around like Nightcrawler. I thought that was super cool. We got snow Ewoks. We've had forest Ewoks. Now we've had snow Ewoks. I like that they called the Ronin the Sith hunting former Sith.
Yeah.
Because I like that he's not really either. And I like that this short had a lot to say. I like that the Ronin isn't quite a Sith, so his opponent in this is not quite a Jedi.
Yeah.
And Ronin is definitely more hero-coded than this former Jedi, because this former Jedi is an obsessive rage monster that at the end, when he goes blind,
He's only about
picks
vengeance.
up the lightsaber that's... Yeah, and he picks up the lightsaber that's calling to him, and it's a red lightsaber. So they're laying that down. But I think that there's a third short that needs to happen, because the Ronin has encountered other Sith, and he's more a hero than them. And he's encountered a Dark Jedi, and he's more a hero than that. I think he has to encounter a Yoda-esque character.
Yeah.
A man or woman of peace, of the light side, of pacifism, yada, 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 and actually see what balance is. I know I'm beating that to death, but so it showed me something that I want this character to, a journey that I want him to go on. Granted, there are novels featuring Ronin, or a novel featuring the Ronin, and there's comics or manga. It might just be manga. I don't know.
I think it's
but
just
there
manga.
are other stories featuring the Ronin, or maybe they've done that. I don't know. I might read it, and I know people are like, you think about this stuff too hard. That's my favorite stuff about this stuff, is getting into the philosophy of it. So, but, oh my gosh, the saber duels? Holy crap.
Yeah.
All of them were incredible. They're my new, they're probably my new favorites in all of Visions.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think, unless I liked something more later. I watched all these in like 2 days.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to keep them from becoming a just gobbledygook or whatever. But you got anything else to say on the Duel Payback?
Nope.
Okay, moving on to the Song of Four Wings. Princess turned rebel resists the Empire. Killer opening. I loved that we got kind of a Visions version of a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, an opening text. I like that Tortu, her droid, has full-on R2-D2 sound effects. Not a sand crawler, it's a snow crawler.
Yeah.
That was super cool. And that AT-ATs burst out of the snow like daisies, to reference Mulan. It was super cool. And I didn't really like this one. I didn't see a need for the AT-AT to turn into a transformer. Portable seismic charges, super cool idea.
Yeah.
But when my man Woopa force pushes a plug into an outlet that's right next to it, and they're like, "Oh, the Force!" It was like, my dog, you moved it an inch. So I just didn't really dig this one. I know, I just didn't really dig it. Hey, it was unique and different and not for me. Yeah. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I really liked the visual look of this episode. I liked that she had, a stormtrooper mask that had, for her goggles and all of that. I loved the idea of a music playing droid, which is something I feel like we haven't really seen. I liked just the emphasis on music in this episode in general. I thought that was really new and exciting. Snowwalker I thought was cool. Coaxium Vane, nice little nod. I loved taking down the walkers. This one is like full on anime with the with her turning into an X-wing. It's full on like Sailor Moon, like whoo whoosh, I'm an anime cool thing. But you gotta give it the nod. But yeah, I thought it was super fun. Again, not my favorite episode of this bunch, but I don't see anything wrong with it. It's perfectly fine. So
Sure.
Yeah.
Valid.
But next,
All right.
we got the long-awaited sequel, but also the prequel episode, which is the new Ninth Jedi episode, which, if you don't know, is getting its own series next year. I loved this episode. I thought this episode was really cool. It starts off with the ship getting her and her other 3 Jedi getting attacked by the ship. She gets blasted out into an airlock, and she finds this old abandoned ship and helps this droid. There's some really cool bounty hunter designs here that are after her, and eventually she makes it back to her people. I loved the design on everything. This old abandoned ship is really cool. It's almost cathedral-esque, but also like old library mansion. There's really interesting designs there. I'm curious to see where the series will lead after this, especially because it says that, it's going to continue on from this episode. But I really liked that it really focused on our main protagonist. I liked that it focused on her and her relationship to her father and her relationship to the Force, and her wanting to help this droid that's been abandoned, just because that's what a good person would do, and she's a good person. And Teto was really, really cute, and I'm glad, the like heroic sacrifice that this droid gives to save her at the end is really quite moving, and I'm also glad that they didn't keep Teto along, because I think he works perfectly for this episode, but I don't necessarily want him along for the entire journey. But yeah, I thought it was a perfectly fine, fun, cute little episode. What about you? That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, I didn't like it, I'm going to be honest. My favorite part of it was Teto, the droid. I thought it was weird that he was straight up Wall-E in Star Wars, like, to a wild degree. It looks exactly the same. Same facial animations, everything, just different colors. It's cute. I mean, that's fun. Let's homage something. Let's have a droid with a heart of gold, right? And my favorite part was Teto. I liked that whole story. I liked that this droid has been on an abandoned ship for a really, really long time, trying to resuscitate his master, who died a really long time ago.
Yeah.
I thought that was a cool idea, and that Teto's like, okay, now I'm going to take care of Kara? Mm-hmm. It's Kara, right? Yeah. I don't know, man. I didn't like the like 3D animation style that they kind of added with this one for the ships and with the duel. I think it looks cheap, and I honestly think it's probably because it is much more affordable. And I think this episode is them showing, hey, this is what the show's going to look like. The show's going to be more like this. We can make it faster.
Yeah.
Why was her first reaction to Teto fear? There's nothing scary about him at all. And I honestly, in a way that I didn't think this with the first short, with the Ninth Jedi, but I did with this one, I thought the dialogue and the acting was so cheesy. And I'm going to be real. I'm sure I'm alone in this, but hey, we're about honesty. I don't understand why the Ninth Jedi is Vision's, like, great hope. Why it's the one that, like, we're going to give this a show, and we're going to do all the things for this. I don't get that. Why is Kara saying she's not good at being a Jedi when twice now she has lightsaber dueled skilled enemies and survived? Like on her own. What? I just don't get it. And this was one that it started and ended with her in the exact same character place.
Yeah.
This added nothing to the story at all, right? To the point that I kind of wish Teto had joined the crew. I thought that's what we were getting. I was like, oh, we're getting a new droid type that can talk. That's fun. And yeah, it was a heartbreaking sacrifice, but it was also like, so why did we do this? So sorry to be super negative, but I didn't dig this really at all.
Spicy take.
Sorry. If you loved it, I don't want to take anything from you,
Yeah.
listeners or watchers. Like, that's cool. I didn't get much out of it. But moving on to, unless you got something to say?
Yeah, I mean, I just disagree. I thought it was really great.
Cool.
I thought it was fun.
Yeah. That's a healthier outlook. I mean, yeah. Anyway, I said all my stuff. But all right, moving on to the bounty hunters.
Yeah.
A rogue bounty hunter and her split personality droid are hired by a shady industrialist. I liked it. I didn't think it was anything really to write home about outside of the bounty hunter droid. I thought that was such a cool idea to have a droid with multiple personalities.
Yeah.
It was a little odd that then, like, you shoot the droid and one of the personalities dies and the other one doesn't. I was kind of like, well, that, huh. But it was cool and I had fun with it. It was a solid, good time, and I didn't really have much else to say. But what do you got?
Yeah, I also loved the multiple personality droid. I thought that was really fun. I saw online that he's a reference to a lot of symbology with the 6 arms and the yin and yang of his personalities, which I thought was really cool. I really liked the Bishan, which is they introduced this like kind of League of Assassins-esque bounty hunter group that she was a part of, where they trained her and all that. She was a slave to them, but they trained her, and I think that's a really cool thing that could very easily go into canon. I really liked the idea of that. I really liked the gold mech droideka. I liked that there was a giant droideka that you could like pilot. Yeah. I thought that was a cool evolution of droids, which I could also see going over to canon. And I really loved that the whole time you think that this Jedi is the villain. You think that they're the villain because they did something to this bounty hunter and all that, but they're really not. They freed them. And like they're like, hey, you're not a slave to this group anymore. But she only thinks they're the villain because she's out of a job. You know, she's like, I'm on the run now. But she's also like now doing good and all that. And so I liked that reveal later in the episode. And I like a group that's constantly on the run. I think that's very Star Wars. Mm-hmm. You know, at the end, they're coming after the two of them, and they're like, "Oh, we gotta go." As a story element, I think that's a really fun place to be. But yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, next we got Yuko's Treasure, which is a shelter's orphan teams up with a street rat kid to help his droid caregiver find a long-lost treasure. Opening thoughts about this one. I thought it was perfectly fun. Again, nothing that I think is going to be world-breaking or groundbreaking. I really loved the Anubis-looking pirate villain of this one. I thought that was a really fun and unique version. It's very wholesome. This whole episode is just a very nice, wholesome, wrapped little gift. The crate dragon running after them is also very anime and fun. It reminded me of like something you'd see in like Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon, you know, where the villains are, you know, fall into a cavern after the big lizard chases them, you know. My biggest question though is the street rat at the beginning. He comes in, he's like, "Hey Dad, have you seen these people?" And the bar manager is his dad, and then at the end he goes with them on the ship. I was like, wait, where are they taking this kid from his dad?
Yeah.
That's the only thing I ran into, but again, I just very wholesome and fun. What about you?
Yeah. It was a good time. It kind of reminded me, I felt like how I feel about that episode is how people that didn't like Skeleton Crew felt about Skeleton Crew. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I had it was like, I feel like this is Skeleton Crew for like a lower tier of ages.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is cool. I was along for the ride until the bad guys were a crew of bad kids. And I was like, all right, I think it would have worked better if it was just the Anubis guy versus the kids, you know? Giant teddy bear droid, hilarious idea. And I thought that was kind of interesting. Like that could totally work. And yeah, the bit of the massive cave monster is just classic genre silliness. Yeah. You know what I mean? That, like you said, falls down a giant cave. But yeah, I had a good time with it. This would be a good one to show to kids.
Yeah.
You know? But moving on to something that was, I thought, pretty cool. The Lost Ones. Mm-hmm. This is the sequel to The Village Bride, one of the ones on my top 5 Star Wars Vision shorts. The main character, F, comes to the aid of refugees displaced by Imperial overmining. My biggest takeaway, I think it was a little kind of anime coded in that it was quite over dramatic with some of the stuff with F's master, but I really, really liked it overall. The first thing I noticed when you're meeting the miners, why are they wearing the suits from Back to the Future?
Oh, that's so great, though. It's such a great nod.
But it was like full on, like the exact suit that Marty McFly wears in Back to the Future.
And what does Marty McFly say he is in that scene?
Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And then he puts up the live long and prosper. Carbonite gas, dope idea. Come on, The Force Unleashed 2. If you know, you know. And then just me being me, I am a sucker for any Star Wars thing or genre thing that will be like, okay, let's talk about some philosophical ideals.
Yeah.
F, teaching the kids, knowledge and experience complement imagination. That helps you notice things you wouldn't have seen before. There's more to reality than what we see, and not everything that we see is true. On the other hand, there are some things you can believe in even if you can't see them. And then something that is important for nowadays, evil takes advantage of people's ignorance and conflict fosters ignorance. Suspicion eats away at people and eventually leaves wounds on one's heart. I'm going to let that be what it be, but I really appreciated that whole sentiment.
Yeah.
But Zach, what are your thoughts on The Lost Ones?
Yeah, I think this might be my new favorite episode of the group.
Whoa!
Yeah, I really, really loved
Cool.
this. I liked how serious it treated the material, but also still had some fun elements. I really liked the opening shot from Back to the Future. I really thought that was fun, a really great little nod, because why not? You know, he calls himself Darth Vader. I love the amount of like prosthetics we see in this episode. Like, you know, she has the robot hand. In Visions in general, I like the amount of just like prosthetics we see. I thought that's pretty cool. This one I thought was darker than every other episode here. The dude just staring at his family, being like, I want to be here with my family. And the guy's like, no, we got to go. Like, the gas is coming. You know, just like someone so depressed on this, like, level. It was really fun to see a planet being killed by something other than a giant laser. I thought the gas was such a cool and inventive way to do that and to use as a weapon as well later on. I too loved how she responded to all the kids, you know, telling them to like observe things for themselves and like, you know, like dig deeper into themselves and into the world. And I loved the Master with the Inquisitor relationship. I loved that there was this, like, giant field on this Death Star. It reminded me very much of, like, Thrawn's Isilamari area, which I hope it's a nod to. I loved that this...
Well, and it was like a holodeck from Star Trek.
Yeah.
It was holograms.
Yeah. Except for the flowers, though. I feel like because the flowers didn't go away at the end, just the sky.
You're right.
But either way, really cool concept. And I loved that this it had that like anime thing of like, you know, beautiful androgynous Alucard-esque master with the like deep voice, but that they've kind of been reborn into the dark side. You know, they're young and virile again, and like just I loved that cool. I thought it was really cool. And the carbonite gas being the thing that lets her win at the end. You know, she sacrifices parts of herself, and she's like, I'm not the best duelist, but I can still save everyone else. I thought was really cool. And the fact that she was ready and willing to, like, die there and, you know, give that sacrifice. And then Ron, not a great Star Wars name, Ron, comes and saves her. But either way, I loved the droid. I loved the Basilisk Smith. I thought it was a really fun, great episode.
Right on.
But speaking of other great things, I also really liked the next one, which is the Smuggler, which is after being sold out to the Empire, a lone smuggler joins the most important crew on the planet. This one was really interesting. I I think it's a pretty straightforward plot. Like there's nothing crazy to go into. But I really liked, this prince who is what a prince should be. He's a prince of the people. He's someone actively trying to save and protect his people. So much so that he is the crew, right? He and his major domo, his security force, are trying to get off the planet, and the smuggler is going to help them. And he reveals himself to save somebody who's being arrested because they think they're him. He goes and attacks. He is this like noble prince who is trying to save people, a fairy tale-esque, I really liked Prince Arlo. The bounty hunter is also sick, the one that's coming after him. I loved the poncho. Ponchos are so Star Wars in a way that like don't like people forget is Star Wars,
Yeah.
I loved that his major domo turned out to be a Jedi. I loved the reveal that her arm popped out her lightsaber. I thought that was a really fun thing that we haven't really seen before.
Yes.
The ship design I thought was really fun of the smuggler ship. And it's just a very noble story. I love that at the end, the smuggler gets recruited into saving the young people of this planet. It felt something like nothing about any part of this episode felt like it wasn't in major canon. Like this could easily just full on pick up, drop into a Star Wars. You're good. Like it doesn't break any canon. It doesn't break anything. I thought it was really fun and exciting. And I like a lady smuggler. She's fun and she's very Han Solo-esque and snarky and exactly what she should be for this episode. Your thoughts on it?
I really, really liked it. It's in my top 5 shorts.
Oh yeah,
of all 3 volumes. The Prince reveal was predictable, but that doesn't make it bad.
Yeah.
I love that Gleenu, his bodyguard, appears to be like a witch, like a crone, and then she's actually a Jedi. And what a cool way to hide a lightsaber.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, it's her whole right arm kind of like opens, and it's a sheath.
Yeah.
Hiding a lightsaber hilt. That was awesome. To go to hyperspace directly in front of a Star Destroyer, like
Very
running
cool.
out of time and just right past the nose, so cool. And then they go to what looks like Yavin 4, or at least reminiscent of Yavin 4. Exactly. I was like, oh, this is canon. I want this to be a show.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I loved that animation style. I loved that writing. I loved that. I loved that. The whole I don't have any bad things to say.
Yeah.
I just loved it. I thought it was awesome. It's my number 4 overall.
Wow.
Okay.
Nice.
Now, so it bumped something. I don't remember.
Bird of
so,
Paradise is next.
As for my favorite of Visions Volume 3 by a wide margin, and my number 2 overall, The Bird of Paradise.
Really?
I'll go ahead and say, I was watching this going, this isn't for everybody. This is for me. This is what I'm here for. This is the good stuff. For me. That doesn't mean I'm right and everybody else is wrong. It just means that I know this is what I like. As soon as I read the description, I was like, here we go. I'm going to be right at home. A blinded Padawan faces a series of trials to avoid the dark side. This art style is my favorite art style of the entire Visions thing. Not even close. I loved the hair tattoos on the master. That like he's bald, but he's got like tattoos in place of a buzz cut. So many just spitting bars, fire quotes. Traverse all moments with a serenity of heart. What a cool way to represent a force sensitive that is blind.
Yeah.
After she gets blinded, just the way that she can see the world through the force was awesome. It's like I said, so it's literally she's blinded, and then she has to go through a series of trials to overcome the pull of the dark side. Right? This is me. As you travel the path of knowledge, your connection to the Force grows stronger, right? Ignorance is... So what I get out of that? Ignorance leads to darkness. Ignorance leads to fear and anger and hatred and pain. You have to be informed to make good decisions and to be on the light side. And then, to me, the one thing that I think does get the balance of the Force right, and it's entirely possible there will be an interview at some point that'll say... That's why this is the second to last short, because we know this is how it works. But as this Padawan encounters her dark side and understands what it is, she says, my immaturity, my impulsiveness, my ego, and my fear of death, it's all connected. I would rather lose my life than lose hope like a Sith. She does not, like, hug her dark side and embrace it. She realizes what it is, realizes that it's not great, accepts that it's problems, and lets it die.
Mm-hmm.
That's balance. That's what balance is. It is not equal selfish and equal selfless. It's being selfless, right? It's acknowledging my fear, my need for control, that is in fact there, and it's the root of the evil in my life, and it's in fact quite bad, and I need to get rid of it. Not by fighting it, by accepting that it's there and letting it die. Right? That's what balance is to me, and so I'm going on my monologues, and I'm sure I'm annoying people that want to hear about pew pew and such, but that's what it is to me, and I absolutely loved it. So what are your thoughts on the Bird of Paradise?
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. I liked that the opening shot is on her earring, which is a bird of paradise. You know, like, I was like, okay, cool. We're gonna go thematic here, right? I also liked the master. You know, I thought he was very short lived, but I really liked the Sith. I liked it was very reminiscent of like an Oni mask, you know, but her face. And I like later on that when she is battling the dark side version of herself, she has the same markings and kind of like tattoos of that same Sith, almost like it's a corruption. Almost, if you've seen K-pop Demon Hunters, almost like the demon marks, right? Because K-pop Demon Hunters is a great movie. Anyways, Nakime is Anakin, right? She is that like over impulsive, like, oh no, I got this, you know, I'm gonna jump on this droid and like do this cool attack move, and then she's being, you know, proud, and she gets humbled real quick. I really loved finally seeing the perspective of a blind Jedi. It's something we've never really seen in canon or in cartoons or anything. I really wish they kind of had done this on Rebels a little bit. I thought that would have been really cool to see like this from like a Kanan perspective. But I really loved it. It reminds me of the Daredevil movie, Ben Affleck's Daredevil, you know, where it's like, oh cool, I can see like through the Force, but I can see, you know, just like very similar. But I really liked that. I liked how existential it was. It reminded me of the different stages of grief. How each day is a different stage of grief. And then I loved I would rather die than lose hope. I loved that. That's a great quote. You know, I would rather die a hopeful, good person than given to all of my fears and my angers and my anxieties. I think that's something we can all learn from. But my only problem with it was the ending. It's just like her look, like I was like, oh wait, but like where's she gonna go? Like, I guess it made me want more, but I was like, I just wanted a little bit more of a resolution. I know she's accepted her fate and her goodness and all of that, but like, were the Sith still out there? Is her master dead? Like, what's going on? So hopefully we get a little sequel. You know, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. To me, that was the point. She has been on the journey. She has conquered her inner demons. She's like, you know, to stay Eastern philosophy about it, she has found a degree of enlightenment. That's the story that matters, right?
Yeah.
So the rest of it is going to be what it's going to be, and she has kind of transcended that. I would be curious because it's structured like day 1, day 2.
Right.
It literally tells you. I would be curious what all of that is based on, because that seemed like it's out of some type of teachings that I don't know about, or some philosophy that I have not discovered. Gotta be, I'm assuming, an Eastern thing. I don't know.
It might be
if you know, put it in the comments below.
It might be the Tao, but I might be talking out of my butt. So.
Well, and I studied that in my world religions class in college, but that was many moons ago. Yeah. So, you know, who knows? Yeah. But did I set that one up, or did you set that one up?
You did, so I'll set up the next one. Next we have
here we go.
Probably the wildest swing of this group of 9, which is Black. It is essentially a music video that is... I actually had to watch it twice. I watched it once by myself, and then I also had Kai watch it because I wanted her artistic mind to look at it. And I'm really glad I watched it a second time. It's only 13 minutes, so I recommend watching it twice if you can. But it's very interesting. It starts off with two single-armed stormtroopers fighting each other while the Death Star is exploding. At the very end, you kind of realize that, like, so the image that kind of made it clear to me is like he's on the snow planet and you see the prefrontal cortex like still lighting up and going. So it's kind of like this stormtrooper dying, wrestling with the different versions of himself. Kai thought also that it might be the red might be the pull of the dark side, the pull of the Empire, the pull of the Sith, you know, kind of corrupting a person and fighting with that inside of himself, because it's clearly a stormtrooper fighting himself. They both have one arm, they have the same beard, same neck tattoo, but it's basically the stormtrooper dying, having his life flash before his eyes, almost in a like PTSD esque way as well. It's a beautifully shot. I mean, like, not shot, drawn. It's a beautiful art style. The music's really fun. It really reminded me of, if you're an anime fan, Cowboy Bebop. The opening of that is boom 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 boom. Anyways, very jazzy. But just such a great swing. The eye imagery all throughout, following his eye, following different eyes looking in. And the fact that these stormtroopers are just continuing to fight while the Death Star is exploding around them. And they're still shooting. They're still attacking. It's just a very, very interesting, very cool. I'm really glad that this exists because it's like nothing we've ever seen in Star Wars. What are your thoughts on it?
All of that. I mean, it's the most unique Vision short in all of Visions, not just this season, at least in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, it's this psychedelic battle wages in the mind of an Imperial trooper at death's door.
Yeah.
It is him making peace with himself. He's fighting himself. He's pushing back against himself. The imagery of the way his helmet cracks and the way you see his teeth is full on from the cover of Death Troopers. Mm-hmm.
I didn't catch
Star
that.
Wars horror novel.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, is he a zombie? No, but that's what they're referencing, you know. And, and one of him is green and one of him is red, and they're fighting each other, and they're missing the same arm. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's him making peace with himself in his last moments. Or is he going to make peace with himself as the entire galaxy around him is at war, or is he going to keep fighting himself? And it doesn't matter. Either way, he dies. But all to the soundtrack of jazz.
Yeah.
Which was wild.
Did you catch the like reflection too when he's fighting himself? It's also him fighting a robed figure, which I thought might be a Jedi. But then later on, you kind of see that robed figure have a very Sithy eye. So I also thought that was very interesting.
And if I remember right, it was the green him that was fighting the robed figure.
But then the green him becomes this like weird monster thing as well. So it's very, very interesting.
It's intended for people to think, and not to take literally. And I was like,
Really?
Well, philosophically, I got more out of the one before it. You know what I mean? With this, I was like, I get it. Life is noise and chaos, and you get what you get out of it, but you need to make peace with yourself. Cool. It's really creative and interesting to like see, like, wow, they did some strange stuff. But that was my response. I liked that it was unique and different, but I'm okay.
I like that this one made me think more than any of them. Like, I've been thinking about this one constantly throughout the week and just being like the visuals and all of that. And just like, I like that I had to watch it a second time. I like that I was like, oh, cool, that was so dense that I need to see it again. Like, I need to get another perspective. It made me want to bring other people in to talk about it and to watch it. Even though it is pretty straightforward, but upon first watch, I was like, "What did I just watch?" So, but yeah, I really liked it. So,
yeah, no, it started, and I was like, "Oh, okay, it's one of those." And I was just like, all right, sick. And then as soon as I put together, they're missing the same arm. Go, it's him. Cool. You know, and then I was just kind of like, yeah, all right, cool.
Well, and there was that Kai pointed out at one point they're on horses, which is, you know, unique to Star Wars, but there's two more behind them, so they're almost also the four horsemen of the apocalypse, which I thought was a nice little nod there too, as the world moon planet exploding thing is exploding. I thought that was a nice little call out by Kai there. So.
Yeah, I just, I mean, if we want to get literal about it, what I'm pretty sure it is a stormtrooper that has been mortally wounded as the Death Star is exploding, having his life flash before his eyes, and whether or not he's going to be able to make peace with himself as he dies.
Yeah.
It's unavoidable, it's happening, but his whole existence, and the entire galaxy's existence right now, is war.
Yeah.
Is he going to be able to make peace in himself while the galaxy is tearing itself apart?
Yeah.
Why it's called Black, I have no idea, but I don't think we're supposed to know, and I don't think they have a reason. I'm not making fun of them. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying that type of art happens from time to time, where it's just like, I don't know what it means. You need to figure out what it means for you.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Well, I want to see more Star Wars music videos, so that aren't, YouTube anime music videos, Star Wars, Although some of those are very good, but
hey, they did them for the prequels. Duel of Fates, Attack the Clones, and Battle of the Heroes got music videos. It's just John Williams directing I'm pretty sure it's the London Symphony Orchestra all 3 times. But they did end with some, highlights of the movie. But they did do those. But all right, Zach, you got anything else to say about Visions Volume 3?
Yeah, I'm so excited that Visions exists. I love this space of, hey, what if we did this with Star Wars? Or what if it was different? Or what if we don't have to worry about canon? And so that it can fit into your own headcanon and put it where you want it. I love we've had different comic books that do this, but I love that it's like, an actual thing on Disney Plus. Here's an actual video. You can, it gives it a little form of legitimacy in a way that sometimes a book or a comic can just, like, they can just be like, no, that's not real. Don't worry about it. So I'm excited for this space. I'm really excited to see what they do with season 4. I hope they go back again to Around the World, if we kind of switch off and on. But I also hope we get some sequels to a couple of these episodes, because I really liked some of them. And I would love a Village Bride series. I would love for them to have their own series too. So maybe we'll get more series. I don't know. It just opens up the world to more Star Wars that doesn't have to be kind of shackled by canon. And I think that's fun. So that's my closing thoughts on Visions. Excited to see more.
Yeah. I think I said it when we reviewed Volumes 1 and 2, but Visions in many ways, while being free from canon, or free from really any connected interconnected continuity, can get down to the core of what Star Wars is. Yeah. What's it all actually about? And we're going to use this imagery, we're going to homage Star Wars while telling a Star Wars-esque story that can get down to the core of what it all means. And I like that some of it's for kids and some of it's absolutely not. Black I would not show to a child. You're watching this guy die and stuff, But yeah, it's a good time, and I've had a Visions month. Yeah. Because I hadn't seen any of it, and then I watched all of it. And we will watch all of The Ninth Jedi as it comes out, and we will review it. 2026 is going to be a wild year, man. Maul Shadow Lord, Ahsoka Season 2, Visions, the series, not to mention, The Ninth Jedi, Visions presents The Ninth Jedi, not to mention Mandalorian and Grogu.
Yeah.
It's all coming back.
Can be eaten good.
We're gonna be full. We're gonna be eating so much Star Wars.
Yeah.
But also Rebel Scum Con 3.
Yeah.
But anywho, there's our episode for the week. And Zach, where can the people find you, and how can they get involved with what they just watched or listened to?
Yeah, tell us all of your Visions thoughts, either in the comments or email us, forceofothersradio@gmail.com. If you have any questions you want us to answer on the show, any what-ifs or fun little, questions about the Star Wars universe, if it's lore-based or even if it's not. If it's like, what would you do if you did this and this and that? Email us, forceofothersradio@gmail.com. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we will reach out to you and give you more good Star Wars news. Next week, we're finally going to review Dark Force Rising, which is the second of the Tron trilogy, book trilogy, because I've been thrilled. But yeah, so look out for that. We have some more interviews for the end of the year and going into next year. We have some other holiday plans, so a big end of the year plans for you all, dear listener. Also, if you're on the podcast, give us those 5 stars. We'd really appreciate it. Anything else you want to add, Matt?
Oh, there was something I was going to say, and I forgot about it. So, if you're in the North Texas area, come see Young Frankenstein. It is a good show. We're getting rave reviews, and you got, the time of recording, you have 3 days left to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Friday, 2 on Saturday, and 1 on Sunday. Come see what we're doing. And then, and Christmas Carol is coming soon. I'm going to try to make everybody cry and make them scared.
Woo.
We have plans to make it actually kind of ghosty and scary.
Spoopy.
But, anywho, without further ado, let me know if I am off base and how the balance of the Force works for you, and so on and so forth. But just learn things from Star Wars. Don't just watch it, let it go in one ear and out the other, and only embrace the pew-pew. Embrace the force of it all. Mm-hmm. Embrace the deeper meanings of these things. Courage is the path to peace. And with all that being said, remember, the force of others will be with you.
Always. And embrace the force of others.
The Force of Others, a Star Wars podcast.